I don't think of that as a forehand.
Okay. Here's the good news. We don't either.
You have three very distinct types of forehand that you hit.
Okay.
And so we're going to focus very narrowly on one of them.
All right.
And we want to throw out the other two.
And we're breaking up with the other two. Never to talk to again.
Any idea what the three varieties are, just off the top of your head?
One of them, I have a tendency to lift my shoulder and drive.
There we
the
go.
ball.
There we go.
That's-
Yep. That's right. That's one we're talking about.
And the other one, I think I start a little bit too low below the ball, but I still take it really low across the net when I probably didn't need to, usually from deep in the court.
Wow, so you're still missing the one that Matt and I are like most, I think, concerned about is this variety, which you did not just describe. What would you call this one? What type of technique would you describe
That's
this as?
a push
Okay.
or a slice.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good. So why didn't that come to mind, out of curiosity?
Because I don't think I don't think of that as a forehand.
Okay.
Here's the good news. We don't either.
Gotcha.
So that I felt like I was probably too crowded,
Okay.
but I wanted to get it cross court.
So watching, I'm gonna play it in full time here.
Okay.
So watch Matt's delivery. Does this look like a crowded shot to you?
No.
So why, I believe you decided before Matt even
Yeah.
hit this serve that you were gonna hit it this
I
way.
think you're probably right.
And so what do you think was going through your mind that you would decide to preemptively decide, like, I'm gonna basically push this this forehand?
My bet is the shot before that I tried a top spin and I put it in.
Yeah, that's
See,
right.
there you go.
That's
You got
right.
it,
Yeah, here it is. This is the previous return. And then from my position back behind the camera, you said something along the lines of, I got to hit it in. I got to get this return in. And so you decided preemptively that it was going to be that type of shot, but you missed that one too.
Yep.
And so there's basically this hierarchy, this like waterfall of like levels of confidence that you're kind of falling down. And you're basically going from like heavy topspin to kind of careful, drivey, kind of forehand type shot, all the way down to I'm just going to push it. And you're capable of missing all three. And this one, the bottom rung of the ladder, Matt and I are we strongly feel you should never hit that shot ever again.
Okay.
So we're gonna throw out the kind of careful drive and the really tentative push, and we're gonna focus in on the heavy topspin.
Okay.
What we're gonna focus on is the body position at contact.
Okay.
And so we'll look at a couple different athletes here. And what I'm going to draw your attention to is the chest position. So this is what you were just talking about, making the initial like turn or coil with the upper body. His shoulders here are about 90 degrees to the baseline.
Yep.
His left arm's across. His shoulders are a little bit past his hips. That's mostly because of his stance. We're not really going to focus on that.
Okay.
Instead, I just want you to focus on what the chest is doing as he starts to initiate forward motion. What does it look like to you initiates the forward part of the swing? Like what part of his body?
His hip.
Yeah, I like that.
Right hip.
Oh, nice. Ooh, specific.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, nice. And so from there, we've got this ripple effect of then his chest starts going. And you can really see with the logo on his shirt. And so what's happening here is his torso is pulling his arm, and his arm is pulling the racket. And so we have this domino effect of hip, chest, arm, racket. And in that order, everything starts to unwind. And it's because he unwinds it in that order that by the time the ball gets there, his chest has turned 90 degrees, and at contact, he's facing the baseline instead of sideways or perpendicular to the baseline. So the order in which it happens and the timing in which it happens are critical. If he did that whole thing but waited until the ball was like here to initiate it, then everything would be caught sideways, and what would have to hit the ball if his body was sideways? Right, and the arm is the last kind of resort. It's like, well, something's got to get the racket out there, and if the body's not going to turn, then arm's got to do it. And so that's why so many tennis players are arming the ball. You remember how I gave you two different speeds with the ball machine?
Yeah.
This is when you're receiving the slower one. And I'm just picking a random shot here. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure exactly what shot this is, but this is the slower rallies. So just like all the pros we looked at, you're starting off 90 degrees to the baseline, which is fantastic. Now let's see what initiates the forward motion. Tell me what you think is initiating. Like what, if you could point to like one specific spot where there's kind of one spot that my eye goes to. What do you think is moving first? Yeah, me too. Yeah, the right shoulder is the first initiator of the forward motion. Even though you're in an open stance here, which should, in theory, make it easier for your hips to start to come forwards, but they're staying sideways here while your right arm and shoulder initiates the forward motion. So we know right off the bat that we've got some kind of subconscious bias towards this part of the body doing more of the work than this part of the body or this part of the body. So these are the faster ones. I'm just going to take a random one here. On that faster shot, you're setting up the same way in an open stance and a good coil, a good turn. Now let's see, I haven't looked at it closely enough. Let's see if you still initiate from that right shoulder. Yep, you see how it's starting from that crease there in your right arm? Now, this is moving a lot faster, and look at where the ball is right now, and look at where your body and your arm is. What do you think is going to happen on this?
I'm going to be late on hitting.
That's right. And so on the faster ones, your chest is really barely transitioning forwards. Your hips and your chest are getting trapped and stuck, and these are the ones that feel to you like it's just kind of your arm going through, because in effect, that's kind of what. I was trying to be nicer. Yeah, it's basically what's happening. You're starting the process of unwinding your shoulders, but it's way too late in the whole timeline of the whole shot. All right, you and I are going to shadow Greg through a really slow segmented forehand, and we're going to break it into 3 pieces. Piece 1 is going to be your normal coil or setup position, however you want to do it. That looks great. Position 2 is you're going to drop the racket and turn with your body without letting the racket come forwards. So we're going to actually exaggerate right now, just for the sake of practice. Leave the arm and the racket there and stretch forwards, focusing on, I love that we have a stripe here, both on your shirt and also on your right hip. Perfect. And so we're going to lead with that, leave the arm and the racket there, and then the third position is you're going to allow the arm and the racket to catch up and go forwards just to contact. And so now, at this point, the shoulders, the hips, and the racket are all flush with the net or with the service line. Does that make sense? Yep. All right, so let's do it together. Position 1 is set up. Position 2 is drop and stretch. Yep. Position 3 is everything parallel. Nice. Now go ahead and do that a couple times yourself. Position 1, position 2, stretch.
Nice.
Position 3, contact. Great. 3 more times. Yep. Stretch. I want you to challenge yourself by leaving the racket back as long as you can. I'll help you out here. I'll hold the racket for you. Go ahead and stretch, and then contact. Yep. Let's do that together 3 more times. Set up, drop, stretch, contact. Set up, drop, stretch, contact. Here's the one you just did. Here's the setup. Here's the drop. Now watch this stripe on your shirt and your shorts here as you initiate forwards. Now, as I said before, we're asking you to exaggerate it right now because we want to draw you away from what you normally do and towards something different. Right. So this is a very early turn with the hips and the shoulders. And so obviously from this position, it'd be impossible for you to not be parallel by the time you get to contact. Right. And that's exactly where we're getting. So this, compared to your contact position on the fastball, is dramatically more stable, strong. Your body is backstopping the contact position now, instead of your arm kind of being out on its own, kind of hanging out to dry. And this is the position we want to get you to over and over and over, regardless of the speed of the incoming ball. Okay. All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to let you do 2 of those slow, smooth shadows, and then on the third one, I'm going to toss the ball out to the side. You're not going to go get it or hit it. You're going to let it go by, and just time that new motion with the ball going past. Just practice the right hip going early. Yep. And make it smooth and fluid. Now same motion here, just let the ball go past. Good. 2 shadows. Right hip leads. Now same motion here. Good. Now we're going to do a shadow, a fake, and then a hit. And I just want you to try to make all 3 the same with your body. Right hip goes first. Doesn't matter what happens to the ball. Fake, right hip. Now a hit, same motion. Good job. Again, shadow. Fake. Same motion. Right hip goes first. Good job. Again, shadow. Right hip. Fake. Right hip. Same motion. Right hip. Good. Let's take a look at that. Really good, Greg. So we want to make sure that the right hip is continuing to lead and initiate. The torso is going before the arm. Good job. Then a fake. Good. Nice shot. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. As long as we're in the ballpark.
Yeah, it's just the timing a little bit.
So here's the actual hit. Nice. Good. All right, Greg, we're going to go back to the blue line and do the same thing. We're going to go right to shadow fake and 3 hits from back there. Same focus. The timing's going to be a little different now that there's a little bit more space. Your focus is exactly the same. Fake. 3 hits. Early turn with the body. Good. Shadow. Fake. 3 hits. So on the left is the one you just did. And on the right is, this is the fast feed from before. From this point, it's the same Greg.
Yep.
Like there's some variation obviously, but we're 90 degrees to the ball. Watch what's initiating here.
Elbow, arm, shoulder.
Yeah. Watch what initiates here.
Yep.
Your torso unwinding first. So this is a pull. This is a push. You're a strong guy. You're a good athlete. So I mean, it was an athletic push, but it's still.
Yeah, it was.
I'm trying to help you out here. I'm trying to help you out here a little bit. but it's still a push. And the butt cap is getting pulled forwards because we initiated from the bigger, stronger parts of the body. So here the hand and the arm is pushing the racket. Here the torso is pulling the racket. And so that's why we're getting to this position compared to this position. All right, let's go back to the baseline. You're probably going to have to kind of adjust your positioning a little bit more. We're going to take out the fake. We're just going to do 1 shadow swing, and then I'm going to feed you 3 balls. 3 hits. That's it, Greg. Hip first. Yep. Hip first. Okay, shadow. Right hip. Good. Let's check those 3 really quick. Sorry, I left that first feed a little bit short. I'm curious where we're at.
I think the last one was a little army.
Okay. All right, let's check it.
Here are the last 3.
The camera does not lie. Nice, nice, nice. So you're getting the parallel before the ball gets there. The tilt, I left the ball pretty short. It's kind of an auxiliary topic, maybe we'll talk about later, but we're going to keep focusing on how parallel the shoulders get for right now. Nice job. Yeah, that was definitely not army. Just got to parallel, so the timing could have been a little earlier, but the actual initiation came from the right spot. That was really good. Let's check that last one and see if maybe your arm started to take over a little bit. Yeah.
You bet, yeah.
Yeah. Good feel. Nice job. Really glad you felt that. Now you set up in a good spot, but I think because you waited so long and the ball got so close to you, I think intuitively you're just like, well, crap, like I gotta get this show on the road or else I'm not gonna hit the ball. Now on these, Greg, I want you to turn up the acceleration or the effort with your body by like 10%. So just a little bit more active acceleration, but keep all of your focused attention on leading with the body. Because like Matt said, you're gonna be really tempted to do all that extra work with your arm, and we want it to all come from here. All right, so 1 shadow. 3 hits with a little bit more acceleration. Good, same tempo. Yeah, same tempo. Okay, again, shadow. 10% more speed. 3 hits. Ooh, nice. That was the Goldilocks.
Yeah. All right, so here's one.
I see.
Yeah.
So just a little bit. I mean, a tiny bit. Your arm started taking over. I look at the position here. So if that felt army to you, I'm really happy.
Yes.
Because it's still a B plus or an A minus. Repetition. It's still really good. But I see what you're talking about.
But once you give me an A plus, like just.
Yeah, you can't go back the other way.
Got to be all A pluses. This one fell a little late, you said? Yep.
You bet.
Yep. And your internal compass is really good.
Yeah.
Most people don't have that level. We have certain people that are like, I don't know, like we got to look at it every time because they have no idea. And you're over on the other end of the spectrum. So this one actually, if anything, may have been a little early. I actually kind of like the first one the best, to be honest, even though it was a little bit, with the arm. This one you're a little overextended, and you kind of tip over and it gets a little bit weak, and you're actually does a little bit more harm. But it's fantastic. I'm not trying to crap on it. Like, it's fantastic you're opening that early. Well, the goal is to keep the core, no pun intended, what we have now, and then slowly increase the acceleration while maintaining the order of operations with the body. And now we're going to add a little bit of stress again. We're going to start to move you a little bit. So instead of feeding relatively right to you, I'm going to move the ball out to your right now. You're going to have to step about 3 steps or so to the side, still open early with the body, and then recover back to the middle again. All right, here we go. Still early with the hip. That's your only thought. Early with the hip. That's a great ball. You're hitting like that 17-year-old. All right, one practice. All right, here we go. 3 hits. Early hip. Nice, Greg. Early hip. Great. Let's look at those 3 real quick. You're delivering much more fluid energy now. And this, we're managing it tightly to keep, make it successful. And then as you go home and keep training, it's just going to be a matter of layering a little more challenge, a little more challenge. This first one, I moved you out of the way pretty far. Really good, Greg. Nice job. Yeah, way to manage it. Good. That was a good heavy ball. This one was a little bit more in place. Oh, it's close. We'll give it to him. He's trying hard. It's close. Yeah. No, I'll give that a solid B. Maybe even B plus. It was very close to parallel. This one's a little bit higher. This is going to be probably the toughest for most people out of the four. Yeah. People are usually going to tend to be behind on that one, which is where we need the body the most, is when the arm and the shoulders start getting up a little bit higher. If the body's not doing a good job of leading, then it's just a really tough, awkward shot. So you and I are just going to hit back and forth. I'm going to just try to hit kind of more or less a neutral ball to the middle of your forehand side, and you're going to have just one focus. I want you to keep the speed of your swing nice and calm and smooth, just so you can really manage what your body's doing. Ready? All right, here we go. Body first.
Early hip, early hip.
Sorry?
Early hip.
Nice. That's a tough shot, Greg. Yep. Hip first. Jeez. Hip first. Great job, man. Great job getting out there. Good. It's always going to be easiest on shorter balls because you kind of
have to
feel like you need to clear and extend just to reach out to the ball in the first place. So that's the late one. You started it from the right place, but just a little bit
behind,
late on the timeline. Nice. Good spot. Good spot. Good for a high ball. Yeah, that's really nice.
There we go.
Good job. That's early.
That's nice.
So we can keep right in that ballpark of like within, give or take a couple degrees of parallel, and just make that your only focus for at least a month or two. Totally throw out the slice like block thing, and then slowly also get rid of like the kind of tight drive thing, and just make this your every swing on the forehand. I think your confidence and your competitiveness goes way, way up within a couple months.